It's riding home again here. Dean Legge and Matt DeBary from Dog Post. Going to talk about some recruiting news from Tuesday. News, Matt, that you I think have seen coming for some time with a commitment for the decommitment for the Dogs. Why don't you go ahead and talk about it, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, four-star defensive tackle Warren Brinson committed to Georgia after his visit for the Georgia Tech game, and it was interesting. I wasn't sure if he was a take in this class. I knew Georgia was one of the first to offer him and kind of pursued him early in the process. But when the news broke that he committed, I talked to you and Dylan after the game, and I said, this is a guy to keep an eye on. I'm not sure if he will remain in this class very long or even in the very end. So there's a lot of really good defensive line prospects in the 2020 class. Georgia already has two committed that we've seen play in person, Jamil Burrows out of McEachern, Nazir Stackhouse from DeKalb County, and they're good players too. So, him jumping on and being the third guy kind of raised a few eyebrows there, but he is a good player. Alabama offered this week. He's got a lot of attention, new attention from some big schools over the past couple weeks, and decided to open things up. And it's not the end of the world. He is a good player, but there's a lot of really, really talented defensive linemen that this Georgia staff is going after.
Well, they've got two defensive linemen in this class, Jamil Burrows and Nazir Stackhouse. You and I have dealt with Stackhouse. Well, you've dealt with Burrows. I've dealt with Stackhouse over time. Those two guys, I'm not sure Stackhouse will become a top 100 player.
Right.
Burrows probably is. I have to say, watching Stackhouse, when I watched him, he was at Stevenson. He's pretty disruptive. I think him. I think he's a pretty good player. In the time that I saw him play at Stevenson, now he's since left and gone to Columbia, and Georgia's got a preferred walk-on in the 2018 class from Columbia, 2019 class coming in from Columbia. So. Columbia, home of Juan Gadsden, that's a long time ago, in DeKalb County in 1994. But, you got Stackhouse, you've got Burrows. What are they getting in Burrows as far as you're concerned?
Well, he's a big guy. They could plug in the middle. He'll play that Julian Rochester, Jordan Davis type role, eating up double teams. He's got good size and strength. He's not the tallest dude, but he's got some good muscle on him, and he's thick. He's got a nice build for the inside, whereas Nazir Stackhouse is a little taller.
Yeah.
Could play that defensive tackle or a big defensive end type, long arms. He's a good player. He's a solid four-star guy. I don't know where everyone else has him ranked. I'd put him right outside that top 100 range, and I think you're right about Burrows. I think he slides inside the top 100. But those are two guys who could project to play on the interior of the defensive line, and they're both solid four-star guys.
It's just, I have seen Stackhouse play live in person. He was disruptive.
He's good.
Yeah, no, he was disruptive. I think he's got potential. He's got to be developed, though. You're talking about a kid who is for sure 6'5", I would think, but certainly over 6'4", not quite 300 pounds. We're so far away. We're a year away from when 2020 wraps up. But with how many kids that have come in, and then you see tonight with Brinson decommitting, it's just hard to really have a reaction beyond the usual, we'll just see how this plays out.
Yeah, you've gone to see Zykevius Walker from Schley County.
Yes.
He's a big target. Obviously, Miles Murphy out of Hillgrove is a big target. The whole staff, or a lot of the staff, went to go see Brian Breesy, the #1 player in the country. I reported today that he'll be at Georgia February 16th, so he's a big target. You've got guys like Jacoby Cowan, BJ Ojulari, probably an outside linebacker. He's at Marietta. Obviously, his brother's at Georgia now. So there's a lot of options, and Georgia should be able to bring in a really, really good class on the defensive line. And, yeah, Warren Brinson is a good player, but Georgia will have no problem bringing in one of the top defensive line classes in the country in 2020, with or without Warren Brinson. But today he did decommit, and he will look at other options. And so will Georgia now.
That's a very important part of all of this, too. Hey, let's just real quick. It's Tuesday going into Wednesday when we're recording this. So that means we are a week away from signing day. It still looks like Georgia's going to take certainly 2, maybe 3 kids Any new news that we haven't really gotten out there since we last talked, you and I?
It was reported today that Nick Cross, the four-star safety from Maryland, same school as 2020 running back Marshawn Lloyd, but he will be in Athens for an unofficial visit Thursday or Friday. Still trying to confirm what those plans actually are, but he'll be at Penn State for an official visit this weekend, obviously the last weekend before signing day. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. As we've talked before, they need another defensive back in this class, whether it's Nick Cross or Kyer Elam, who they're battling out with Florida for, but they definitely need a tight end. They need a defensive back, and maybe an offensive lineman or a wide receiver. So numbers are tight, but they definitely do need a defensive back and a tight end in my eyes.
Okay, we'll keep everyone up to date over on the site. If you're not a member of Dog Post, now is really a very good time. We have had an excellent month at the site. Best month yet, actually. And if you're not a member of the site, it's $2 for 2 months right now. I'd go ahead and go to dogpost.com and give it a shot right now. But Matt, it's one of those times of the year where information rolls in pretty quick and can change too pretty quick. So we will do this again here soon. Signing day is in 1 week from this Wednesday, and Georgia will try to figure out how to secure the number 2 ranking in the country, and we will be there along the way to report that for you. For Matt DeBary, this is Dean Legge from Dog Post signing off.